All right, I am back again this week because I got a request to do a rant about players playing one position for multiple seasons, which could be a spring and fall season or say a yearly season, so 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. And this was brought in by Ty B. So obviously his question was directly related to his son, and as a 7 and 8 year old, should they be stuck playing one position? So I'm going to answer that first, and then I'm going to jump into a whole thing about players playing multiple positions and how they need to. So especially in the younger ages, at 7 and 8 years old, young players need the experience of playing multiple positions. And by the way, I would include goalkeepers in that. So for example, playing forward, at that age they're playing 7v7, which again is too much in my opinion, should be playing 5v5. But that's another story. While doing that, they can play and experience different things. How to start attacks from the back, for example. How to learn how to stay wide to get the ball, for example. Learning how to connect and move the ball in different positions, say if you're a midfielder or a central midfielder. So those are key elements that if you're stuck playing one position, let's say it's a forward, you're only learning how to, for example, make runs behind defensive lines because the ball's played long, or whatever. Or maybe connecting from the front, instead of starting attacks, receiving the ball in different positions, pressure immediately on your back, or maybe you have time. You don't learn those things when you're playing one single position. Now, I'm not saying that the players have to go play every position every single week. No, it could be every 3 weeks, maybe you have a set of 3 positions and then you rotate them. But remember, the way I'm looking at it, it's development. The way 99% of the coaches in America look at it, it's winning. Winning. So think about how it transpires when the kids start getting older. They're comfortable playing one position, they have no idea how to play another position, and then they only have, for example, one skill set, which is, if in this situation with Ty, is he's a forward. So he's only going to know how to run, make runs behind, maybe connect from up front, score, which is great. You need goal scorers, you need players that can score and finish. But what about the rest of the game? It's not just scoring and finish. You have to get the ball from one point to the next. And as I've talked before, 99% of teams in this country just boot, kick, smash, clear the ball, which means soccer's not actually being played. I'm going to repeat that. Soccer's not actually being played. It's being kicked. So when you give players chances to play, obviously, multiple positions, they're learning different things. And players learn the best, they learn the most, I should say rather, when they are uncomfortable. So if your child is only playing one position, that's where they're comfortable. They're not going to learn as much because now they're set, they know where they have to do this, they have to score, they have to run here, the coach is telling them to go here, okay, great. But when you get put into a new position, it is unfamiliar, you're uncomfortable. Now, I'm not going to say that the best players can play all the positions because that's not necessarily true either, but better players can play multiple positions. So I've been reading Pep Guardiola, I've been reading a book on Pep Guardiola, and he says, in this book, they talk about how important and how good a player Philipp Lahm was, and it was this. He had such a soccer IQ. His IQ was so far ahead that he could play multiple positions, and most people know he played right back. He was able to play center back, defensive midfield, right wing, center midfield. They even put him as an offensive midfielder, left back, left wing. He was that good here that he could manage that. So obviously another benefit, as I just kind of highlighted, about playing multiple positions is that your soccer IQ grows, your understanding of the game grows, your tactical understanding grows, and then of course how to apply different technical aspects of your game. So that everything increases in that. So whether that is, let's say you play as a center back, or you normally play as a striker, you have to play as a center back. Now you have to determine how do you pass a ball into somebody into your position, right? As a striker, how do you hit that pass? Or can we hit that diagonal to the runner on the other side? Things that you're not accustomed to anymore that have now been flipped on you because you're normally the guy getting the run. So maybe, it's called experiential learning, right? You're normally making a run this way. If you're in a different position, or a position where you can maybe feed that pass, you can find an adjustment to your run to make it better so that you can receive a better pass, right? And those are little things that you learn or should learn when you are moved to play different positions. And so that is a big context for why players need to play different positions. Now, most of the time players don't start locking in, I'm using quotes, locking in, until about 15 years old. But I will tell you this, a personal example from me, right? When I played college, during my 4 years, played every single position on the field, and I'm not joking, every single position on the field except goalkeeper. I was that smart that I was able to fill in at multiple positions and do a good job. Now, my best position as a soccer player was always a number 8. So, not the 6, not the 10, the 8. And I was very good at linking play, combination play, getting the ball forward, retaining the ball, things like that. But I was able to play left back, right back, center back, defensive midfield, number 10, number 9, number 11, number 7, which is essentially a position on the field. I was able to do those things because I had this. I had the knowledge to be able to do that. Now, that gave me an extension to play further levels because of that. Now, in my youth, I also played center back. I played defensive midfield, center midfield, number 10, left, right. But you start noticing your specific qualities as a player when you're younger too, but you'll start noticing where you really fit in at about 15 years old. Now, if you're only a one-trick pony and you can only play one position, you've been locked in, let's say, for 3 or 4 years, the challenge now is you have to break old habits. So whether that means you've been playing as a center defender your whole life, let's say for 5 years, you only played center defender, you now have to have your coach help you break those habits, and they're going to have to put you in different positions. And the way I look at it is like this. If I get a player, and I've had one before actually, that had only played one position, I had to stick them in an area, and it took really about 3 months, and I had to do a lot of coaching because they're only so structured in one way. They're only used to playing in this one spot. They haven't had the other experiences before, so now they're stuck. So it's going to take at least, let me rephrase that, it will take a minimum of 3 months for you to see a major difference in somebody. And by the way, that's with 4 sessions a week. 4 sessions, not 2, not 1, not 3, 4 sessions a week. So, and that's in a team setting, by the way, not individual. Now, obviously individual practices can help and whatnot, but you have to break down that wall, that bad habit wall, rebuild up and give them new tools to implement. So the longer a player goes, the older a player goes too, the less they're going to be comfortable in learning something else, that's something that's different to them. So give players, we as a country, and I'm saying we because I'm an American, need to give players the opportunity to play multiple positions and learn from that and not worry about what the score is. And I'll say that because we had a scrimmage last night. My team had a scrimmage last night. We lost. We lost. I'll tell you right now, we lost. Okay? And I don't even remember what the score was, but everybody on my team, including the goalkeepers, by the way, played different positions. They're learning. They're getting different experiences, things they're not used to, right? And I have players that are comfortable in specific positions, but I know they're comfortable. They don't need to be there anymore. Well, they can be in some periods, but they need to try new things so that way they grow. They experience new styles, new ways of playing, how to beat somebody else in a different position, those type of things. And we can only get that by player rotation. I'm going to kind of recap it like this. If your child or you as a player are stuck only playing one position, you need to have an immediate talk with your coach and tell them Coach Kyle sent you. Okay, that's fine. But you need to have an immediate conversation with your coach because you need to play different positions. If you honestly, if you have a serious goal of playing at the next level, so college, professional, whatever your goal is, right, and it's the next level, you have to be comfortable trying different things and playing different positions. And that's the only way, or I shouldn't say like one of the ways, that we can help change the culture in this country of not being so focused on winning at 10 years old or 11 years old or 12-year-olds and change it to be about developing players like the rest of the world does. So, and I say that because I read an article about Barcelona. They took out the word winning. They said, we don't care who we play against, we want to go compete. We want to compete. And that's arguably, and I don't even know if it's arguable at this point anymore, the best academy in the world, and they took out the word winning. So what are we waiting for as a country? Why are we waiting to change these things to make it better for our kids if U.S. Soccer and all our coaches want to change the way we play this game and make players, or develop players rather, to play at the highest level? Because the way we're going still to this day hasn't changed since I played as a kid. It's the same thing. Coaches putting people in certain positions, locking them in, not giving them a chance to experience different things, and just focused on clearing the ball out, kicking it, booting it, sending it, whatever word you want to use to describe this monstrosity of what we call soccer. And if we don't change it, we don't tear down this wall, we don't tear down the wall. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy. If you have questions, you want me to do more rants, let me know, man. I love doing this. I enjoy it a lot. So reach out, talk to me. Let's have a conversation. I love to hear from people. I love your feedback. Love to see what you guys think. Okay, so before I go, the last thing I want to give you, this came to mind right now, and this talks about players playing different positions, freedom, whatever. It's about Gerard Piqué playing for Barcelona, and in the middle of the game, it's 2-2. They win the ball, they counterattack, and he flies up as a forward. You tell me if your coach would have yelled at you to run back, or if he would let you go up and play as a emergency forward, so to speak. Read this and tell me what you think. The U.S. soccer, American soccer wall, we're done. We're done. We'll fail to win World Cups. Our best players are going to be not found, and we're going to continue to just be average. Average. Okay, so before I go, the last thing I want to give you, this came to mind right now, and this talks about players playing different positions, freedom, whatever. It's about Gerard Piqué playing for Barcelona, and in the middle of the game, it's 2-2. They win the ball, they counterattack, and he flies up as a forward. You tell me